Admiral Maya Carter of the United States Navy strode into the airport with an air of confident elegance. Her lightweight suitcase rolled smoothly behind her, complementing her casual attire, a soft gray sweater, and comfortable jeans. Her sleek black hair was pulled back in a neat bun, accentuating her refined yet strong features. Today, she was not in her military uniform. Instead, she opted for simplicity, seeking a moment of relaxation before attending a crucial international conference in Washington, D.C. Maya Carter was more than just an admiral. She was a symbol of courage and intellect within the U.S. Navy. With over 25 years of service, she had commanded numerous vital operations, from hostage rescues to humanitarian missions across the globe. Her achievements were recognized not only through prestigious decorations, like the Medal of Honor and the Distinguished Service Medal, but also through the deep respect she earned from her colleagues and subordinates. Maya's name was well known in international military and political circles. She was renowned as an exceptional leader who always prioritized human interests. Her sharp strategic mind and skillful negotiation abilities had helped resolve many tense situations without resorting to violence. Furthermore, she was a pioneer in promoting gender equality within the armed forces, inspiring countless young women to pursue military careers. Despite her fame and success, Maya maintained a simple and humble lifestyle. She believed that rank and titles did not define a person, but rather their actions and the values they upheld. That was why today, she chose ordinary clothes over her uniform, hoping to savor a moment of peace before stepping into the high-pressure meeting. However, from the moment she approached the check-in counter, Maya sensed the scrutinizing gaze of the female staff member. Her eyes flickered over Maya's casual attire, then shifted into hesitation and suspicion. It seemed the absence of a military uniform prevented the staff member from recognizing the renowned woman standing before her. Maya presented her ticket and military ID, hoping for the usual swift check-in process she experienced when flying in uniform, but this time the staff member glanced at her ID and frowned. "Are you sure this is your flight?" she asked, her voice laced with doubt. "Yes, Flight 354 to Washington, D.C., first class," Maya replied, striving to maintain her composure. She noticed the clear hesitation in the staff member's eyes. The female staff member looked at Maya for a moment, then turned to call another colleague. A young man named Mark approached, youthful in appearance, but with suspicion evident in his eyes as he saw Maya. She was all too familiar with this look. Not just doubt about the validity of her ticket, but doubt that someone like her could be flying first class. "Hello, ma'am. Could I see your ticket and ID again?" Mark asked, his tone polite, yet cold. Maya, controlling her emotions, handed over her ticket and military ID. "Here you go. Please check." Mark stared at the documents, then looked Maya up and down. "We need to verify some information. Please wait a moment," he said, and walked away, leaving Maya standing at the counter. The female staff member avoided her gaze, pretending to be busy with the computer screen. A familiar indignation rose within Maya. She felt the curious stares and whispers around her. "What is it this time?" she thought. Though she had faced discrimination many times before, each instance felt like a knife twisting deeper. A middle-aged man standing behind her sneered, whispering to his companion, "Probably another one trying to sneak into first class." Maya clenched her fists, striving to remain calm. "I've overcome challenges far greater than this. I won't let them get to me," she told herself. She turned back to the staff member. "Excuse me, but I'm in a hurry. Is there a problem with my ticket? The staff member fumbled a bit, then replied without meeting her eyes. We just need to verify some information, ma'am. Please wait. Verify what? Maya thought, anger starting to rise. If I were in uniform, would they be treating me like this? Mark returned, this time accompanied by an older man, presumably a supervisor. He looked at Maya with a cold expression. Are you Maya Carter? He asked, his tone unfriendly. Yes, I am. Is there an issue? Maya responded, forcing her voice to remain steady. We've noticed some irregularities with your ticket. Where did you purchase it? He questioned. The supply system. Maya felt her patience wearing thin. I booked it through the airline's official channels. If there's a problem, I suggest you check your system. He smirked, a hint of mockery in his expression. We just want to ensure the safety of all passengers. Please cooperate. Maya took a deep breath, trying to control her emotions. I've provided a valid ticket and military ID. If you require anything further, please let me know. Around them, other passengers began to show impatience. A young woman sighed. We're going to be late if this continues. Another man added, if you're not eligible, you should give your seat to someone else. Maya felt her pride stinging. She had dedicated her life to protecting these people, and now they were treating her like a fraud. The supervisor gave her another once-over, then turned to Mark. Call security. I don't want to waste everyone's time. Are you serious? Maya could no longer remain silent. I've provided all the necessary documents. You are discriminating against me. I have no choice. How else would we find out if there's a case? He shrugged. We're just following procedures. If you don't cooperate, we have to call security. Maya felt her blood rising. Fine. Get your superior here. I want to speak to someone with actual authority. The female staff member scoffed, muttering to Mark. Who does she think she is? Mark shook his head, replying softly, probably just a troublemaker. Maya heard every word they said. She decided to tolerate it no longer. She pulled out her phone and dialed the Secretary of Defense's office directly. Hello, I need to speak with the Secretary immediately, she said quickly when the call connected. Yes, it's urgent. Those around her stared with surprise and disbelief. Some scoffed, thinking she was putting on a show. Just a few seconds later, a familiar voice boomed from the other end. Maya, what's going on? Mr. Secretary, I'm at the airport and experiencing some issues with boarding. The staff here refused to accept my documents and are calling security. I need your intervention. The secretary responded without hesitation. I'll take care of it right away. Put the person in charge on the phone. Maya handed the phone to the supervisor. The Secretary of Defense wants to speak with you. He hesitated, then took the phone with a dubious look. Hello? His face gradually turned pale as he heard the voice on the other end. Yes. Yes, sir, I understand. I apologize. We'll take care of it immediately. He returned the phone to Maya, his head bowed. I sincerely apologize, Admiral Carter. We didn't realize... Didn't realize because I'm not in uniform? Or because you don't believe someone like me could be an admiral? Maya cut him off, her voice icy. He stammered, No, ma'am. Just what? Discriminate against customers based on their appearance? She stared directly into his eyes, leaving him no room to escape. Silence fell over the surroundings. The passengers who had mocked her earlier now looked on with regret and shame. Halt! The female staff member and Mark hung their heads, unable to utter a word. Maya took a deep breath, then said, "I hope you'll learn from this. No one deserves to be treated this way." She turned to leave, but paused. "And I'll make sure your management hears about this." Ugh. The supervisor called after her. "Admiral Carter, please wait. We're truly sorry." But she didn't turn back. She walked towards the security gate, her heart filled with mixed emotions, anger, disappointment, but also a stronger determination than ever. "This isn't just about me," she thought. "I have to do something to change this." As she passed through security, some officers recognized her and saluted with respect. It only highlighted the contrast with how she had just been treated. A young security officer said, "Hello, Admiral Carter. It's an honor to meet you." Maya smiled faintly. "Thank you. Keep up the good work." Settling into her seat on the plane, she gazed out the window, reflecting on what had transpired. She knew that discrimination and prejudice still ran deep in society, and she resolved to use her voice and position to fight against it. "What a little fool he was," she muttered to his furious attackers. Then came thoughts of Ziana Court. She could reach even her Peking years with one of the few specialists, personal counselors to Fort Ninth. She resolved to use her voice and position to fight against it. On the plane, Maya found her seat in the first-class cabin. She hoped that things would be better from here. But when she arrived at her row, she found a bag already placed on her seat. She looked around and saw a flight attendant approaching. "Excuse me, this seat is taken," the attendant said, her tone unfriendly. "Actually, this is my seat," Maya replied, presenting her ticket. The attendant looked at the ticket, then at Maya. "There might be a mistake. One moment," she said, and walked away without further explanation. Maya stood there, the unpleasant feeling rising again. Once more, she was treated as if she didn't belong. The man in the seat next to her looked at her curiously. "Is there a problem?" he asked. "It seems so." Maya gave a weak smile. The flight attendant returned with a male colleague. "Ma'am, we've checked and this seat belongs to another passenger. We can offer you a seat in economy class." Maya couldn't believe her ears. "Excuse me? My ticket clearly states first class, seat 4A. The male attendant looked at the ticket, then said, "We will arrange a seat for you in economy. We apologize for the inconvenience." Anger flared. "I will not accept that. I purchased a first-class ticket and I have the right to sit in my assigned seat." The female flight attendant sighed. "If you don't cooperate, we'll have to call security." The man in the next seat interjected, "Come on, just let us sit. There's no need to make a fuss." But the flight attendant gave him a warning look. "Sir, we are handling this according to regulations." Maya decided she had enough. "I want to speak to the head flight attendant immediately." A moment later, the head flight attendant appeared. "What's going on here?" Maya briefly explained the situation. The head attendant checked her ticket in the system, then turned to the other two attendants. "There's been a mistake. Seat 4A does belong to Miss Carter." The two flight attendants exchanged glances, their faces etched with displeasure. "We were just following the information provided," they said. The head attendant turned to Maya. "I sincerely apologize for the inconvenience, ma'am. Please have a seat." Maya thanked her and sat down, but her mood hadn't improved. She felt exhausted from constantly having to fight for what should have been naturally accepted. Throughout the flight, the attendants mostly ignored her. When serving meals, they gave her a different menu from the other passengers. When she requested a glass of water, it took him a long time to bring it. She overheard whispers from behind. Is she here? Well, probably someone who got a free upgrade. Maya tried to focus on her book, but couldn't. She felt isolated amidst a crowd. This isn't about me, she told herself. This is about a system that needs to change. When the plane landed, Maya decided to take action. She approached the head flight attendant before leaving the aircraft. Excuse me, I want to thank you for your help earlier, Maya said. You're welcome, ma'am. It was my duty, the head attendant replied. But I also want to report the attitude of some of your staff. I felt discriminated against throughout the flight. The head attendant listened, her expression serious. I'm very sorry to hear that. I will report this to the management. Thank you. I believe we can do better to ensure all passengers are treated fairly. Certainly, ma'am. Maya left the plane feeling slightly relieved, but perhaps things wouldn't end smoothly just yet. Because the incident on the plane was quite a commotion. Some passengers had taken out their phones to record videos and post them on social media. Within hours, the video went viral. Many people recognized her as Admiral Maya Carter of the U.S. Navy, a prestigious and respected figure. On social media, public opinion was in an uproar about the discrimination she endured. News headlines started appearing. Navy Admiral discriminated against on first-class flight. The ugly truth of racism in the airline industry. Admiral Maya Carter speaks out about terrible experience on flight. Maya received countless messages and calls from friends, colleagues, and even strangers, expressing their support and outrage at how she was treated. She understood that the situation had spiraled beyond her control, and she needed to speak up to address it. She sat in her hotel room, gazing out the window with a heavy heart. She didn't want this incident to turn into a witch hunt against the flight attendants, but she also recognized the importance of confronting the issue. The phone rang. It was Colonel James, her close friend and advisor. Hello, Maya, are you all right? James asked, his voice filled with concern. Hi, James, I'm fine. Things are a bit chaotic, though, she sighed. We saw the video. The Department of Defense wants to know if you need any support. Thank you. I think I need to issue an official statement. I don't want things to go too far and affect those involved. Understood. If you need anything, let us know. Maya hung up, then decided to write a post on her personal page. She wanted to share her thoughts sincerely and constructively. Dear everyone, on a recent flight, I experienced an undesirable situation. I appreciate everyone's concern and support. However, my goal is not to punish individuals, but to raise awareness about the need for fair treatment and mutual respect. We all make mistakes, but the important thing is to learn and change from those mistakes. I hope that this incident will encourage a positive dialogue on how we can improve and create a respectful environment for all. Sincerely, Admiral Maya Carter. After posting, she felt relieved. She believed this approach would help reduce pressure on the staff involved while promoting positive change. The next day, she received a call from the airline's CEO. Admiral Carter, this is Michael Thompson, the airline's CEO. First of all, I would like to express my sincere apologies to you for the unfortunate experience on our flight. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I appreciate your concern, Maya replied. We have reviewed the actions of the employees involved and will be conducting retraining on customer service and cultural diversity awareness. We ask for your forgiveness and hope that you will continue to trust to use our services. I'm glad to hear that. My goal is not to get anyone fired, but to ensure that all passengers are treated with respect. We understand and are committed to improving. After the call, Maya felt more hopeful about the possibility of change. She knew that one incident couldn't completely erase prejudice, but it could be the start of a bigger shift. In the following days, the media constantly contacted her for interviews. She accepted a few select interviews, emphasizing the message of respect and mutual understanding. During an interview on national television, the host asked, "Admiral Carter, do you think this incident reflects a larger problem in our society?" "Yes," Maya replied. This incident is not just my personal experience, but also evidence that we still have a lot of work to do to eliminate prejudice and discrimination. But I believe that through dialogue and education, we can make progress. So, do you have a message you want to send to the public?" "I want to encourage how we treat each other every day. Every small action can make a difference. Let's build a fair and respectful society together." After the interview, she received a lot of positive feedback. Many people thanked her for handling the situation calmly and constructively. A week later, the airline announced the launch of a new training program for all employees, focusing on customer service and diversity awareness. They also thanked Maya for helping them identify their shortcomings and committed to improving. Maya felt satisfied. She knew there was still work to be done, but at least a step forward had been taken. She hoped that her experience would inspire others to speak up against injustice and drive change in the community. As she prepared for the international conference, she felt more confident than ever, not only because of her important role in defense matters, but also because she had contributed to a crucial societal dialogue. It's true it's difficult. It's confusing, it's chaotic, and yet it's all part of the greater good. The journey is long, but every step is worth it, she told herself, smiling and continuing to move forward. The international conference in Washington, D.C. took place in a solemn and serious atmosphere. Representatives from many countries, military and political leaders, and leading experts gathered to discuss global security issues. Admiral Maya Carter entered the Grand Conference Hall with confident and determined eyes. Despite the recent events still lingering in her mind, she knew this was an opportunity to speak up for a greater purpose. When it was her turn to speak, Maya stepped onto the podium, glancing across the crowded hall. The lights illuminated her face, reflecting the strength and sincerity in her eyes. She began her speech by thanking her colleagues and emphasizing the importance in international cooperation in maintaining peace and security. "Ladies and gentlemen," she continued, her voice clear and powerful, "today I want to address an issue that affects not only me, but also many people around the world. It is the issue of racism and prejudice that still persist in our society." The hall fell silent. All eyes were on her, some surprised, some curious. Maya went on to recount her experience on the flight to the conference, but did not focus on personal details, instead emphasizing the bigger picture. "This is not just my story," she said. "It is the story of millions of people who face injustice and prejudice every day. While we sit here discussing security and peace, we cannot ignore the silent battles taking place within our societies." She paused, letting her words sink in. "We, as leaders, have a responsibility not only to protect borders and sovereignty, but also to ensure that all citizens are treated with respect and fairness." A round of applause started from the back of the hall and spread throughout. Many people stood up, expressing their support for her message. Maya felt the power of unity, and her heart was filled with hope. After the speech, many delegates came to congratulate her and express their support. A general from Europe said, "Admiral Carter, you have spoken what many of us were afraid to say. Thank you for your courage." A representative from Africa added, "Your message is crucial. We need to work together to make a change." The media quickly reported on Maya's speech. On social media, the hashtag #StandWithMaya became widespread. Many people shared her story, expressing empathy and calling for action against racism. Major newspapers published articles with headlines like, "Admiral Maya Carter calls for an end to racism at international conference." Powerful call for social justice from military leader. Maya Carter becomes a new symbol in the fight against prejudice. Maya received thousands of messages from around the world. Young people saw her as an inspiration, sending thanks for her courage and leadership. She realized that she was not just an admiral, but also a voice for those who didn't have the opportunity to be heard. In a press conference after the summit, a reporter asked, "Admiral Carter, do you think your call will bring about real change?" Maya smiled confidently. "I believe that every action, every word can make a difference. If we speak up and act together, change will come." Another reporter asked, "Do you have any specific plans to continue promoting this issue?" "Yes," she replied. "I am working with other organizations and leaders to develop educational and training programs to raise awareness about diversity and inclusion. We need to start at the root, and education is key." The support for Maya was not limited to the United States. World leaders sent congratulations and proposals for cooperation. Some countries began reviewing their policies and procedures to eliminate discrimination and prejudice. In the U.S., social and community organizations held discussions and seminars based on Maya's message. She was invited to participate in numerous television programs, events, and forums to share her experiences and vision. Despite being busy, Maya always remembered her initial goal. She knew that fame could be a double-edged sword, but she decided to use it to promote positive change. One evening, upon returning home, she received a letter from a little girl named Lily. "Dear Admiral Carter, my name is Lily, and I'm 12 years old. I watched your speech and was very moved. I used to be bullied at school for being different, but seeing you stand up so strongly, I feel like I can do it too. Thank you for being an inspiration to me and many others." Reading the innocent yet sincere words, Maya felt her eyes welling up. She realized that although the journey ahead was still challenging, every step was meaningful. She replied, "Dear Lily, receive. I was so happy to receive your letter. Always believe in yourself and know that you are not alone. Together, we can create a better world. Sincerely, Admiral Maya Carter." Maya knew that the road ahead was long, but with the support of the community and her own determination, she believed that real change would come. She had become a symbol of courage and justice, not only in the military, but also in the hearts of the public. And so, for a painful personal experience, Maya transformed it into a social movement, motivating people to act together for a world free of discrimination and prejudice. She was not only a talented admiral, but also a beacon guiding many on the path towards justice and compassion. After the international conference, Admiral Maya Carter realized that her voice and position could create greater change than she had ever imagined. The support from the public and colleagues encouraged her to continue her noble mission in pushing back against racism and building a more just society. Maya decided to establish a charitable foundation called the Bright Future Foundation. The Sustainable Foundation aims to support disadvantaged children, the poor, and the homeless. She believed that investing in education and providing opportunities for the less fortunate would help reduce injustice and create sustainable change. At the foundation's launch ceremony, Maya stated, "We cannot change the past, but we can shape the future. By supporting and empowering those who need it most, we are building a solid foundation for a more just and compassionate society." The Bright Future Foundation quickly received widespread support from the community, businesses, and non-governmental organizations. Many people volunteered, contributing their time and resources to implement educational programs, vocational training, and provide temporary shelter for the homeless. Maya not only acted as the founder, but also actively participated in the foundation's activities. She regularly visited support centers, talked with children and families, listened to their stories, and shared her experiences. One day, during a meeting at the Community Education Center, a boy named Carlos asked her, "Admiral Carter, how can I become someone like you?" Maya smiled and placed a hand on Carlos's shoulder. "The most important thing is to believe in yourself, keep learning, and always treat those around you well. No matter what difficulties you face, remember that you are not alone, and there are always people willing to help." Her answer filled Carlos and the other children with hope. Maya knew that every word, every action of hers could positively influence their lives. Time passed, and the efforts of Maya and the charitable foundation brought significant results. Many children had access to quality education. Homeless families found stable housing, and the poor were supported to improve their lives. Maya's story became an inspiration to many, motivating them to act for the community. At a ceremony honoring her contributions, Maya stood on stage, looking down at the auditorium filled with familiar faces, colleagues, friends, those she had helped. All were there, sharing this meaningful moment. What we have achieved is not the result of one individual, but the joint effort of everyone, she said. I am extremely grateful for the support and love that everyone has shown for each other. We have proven that when we unite, nothing is impossible. Thunderous applause erupted, expressing respect and affection for her. Maya felt her heart filled with joy and contentment. She knew that this journey was not just about fighting discrimination, but also about building bridges to connect people. After the ceremony, she stepped outside, breathing in the fresh air. The sunset painted the sky red, creating a peaceful scene. She recalled the hardships she had endured, the challenges she had overcome, and the people who had been with her on this journey. A familiar voice sounded from behind. "Maya, you have done a wonderful thing." She turned and saw Colonel James smiling. "Thank you, James. But we still have a lot to do." "That's true. But today, be proud of what you have achieved," he replied. Maya nodded, her eyes gazing into the distance. "I believe the future will be better. Not just for us, but for all future generations." James placed a hand on her shoulder. "With people like you leading the way, I believe that too." They stood there, watching the sky change color, feeling the peace and hope Maya knew that although the journey was long, she would never be alone. With determination and love, she would continue to fight for a just world where everyone is respected and has the opportunity to thrive. And so, the story of Admiral Maya Carter is not just about a strong woman facing injustice, but also about the power of compassion and solidarity. She turned difficulties into opportunities, transformed pain into action, and became a torchbearer for many.